Welcome to Vinnie's Talk. This is a 111-year anniversary for the Titanic. Welcome to Vinnie's Talk, in a special edition, 111 years, the 111th year edition anniversary. We're going to talk about the Titanic, guys. Welcome you guys to the podcast. And tonight at 11:40, 111 years ago, one of the most magnificent, biggest ships struck an iceberg, like I said, around 11:40. Ice cold iceberg. And there's a lot of speculation around just about if it could have been prevented. Is, Officer Lightoller could have been, all these different officers that were working on the bridge could have prevented this, but I really do believe that there wasn't enough tools to see the iceberg in time before they hit, and it was a travesty. It was definitely, it was definitely a travesty, guys. It was one of the biggest tragedies in the world. The Titanic, 1912. We got little mama. Little ma. So you got little mama over there chilling. Anyways, April 14th is when she hit. Tomorrow, April 15th, is when she sunk at around 2:20. I believe it was 2:20, 2:40. Around that time, the Titanic was still afloat only for about an hour, close to 2 hours, before she was at the bottom of the northern Atlantic. It's crazy because a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of the actual Titanic. We all watch the love story of the Titanic, guys, and we see the movies. And even though I commend the movie, the James Cameron film was a phenomenal movie. It's one of my personal favorites. But I really do think that more people should pay attention to this ship in itself, man. And that's why I just wanted to, talk about this anniversary and talk about remembering the Titanic in 111 years. Wow. It's a long time ago, but we still remember the Titanic, the beauty of it. I don't know if you guys seen a video that I put up, the tribute for the Titanic, but the White Star Line by Harlan and Wolff, the people who created, the architect, Mr. Thomas Andrews, and such a gentleman, right? When you learned about him, and when you learn about everything about just the creativity and how they made the Titanic, right? I also wanted to talk a little bit about, we talk about the anniversary and we talk about the ship. Not a lot of people like to talk about who was on the ship, who survived the ship, but mainly, people that were coming in from Southampton, Ireland, and, traveling to New York City, the targeted destination. A lot of people trying to live a better life, a lot of immigrants, and first class, second class. It was crazy to know that, all these souls and people were just trying to get a better life. But there was also very rich people on board the Titanic. I had to take notes for this anniversary special, so you know. I'm just amazed about the Titanic that it had so many different aspects of the ship, like swimming pools and gymnasiums and 1912, a long time ago. And now what we have today in technology like cell phones, they didn't have that back then, but they still had some magnificent things like they still had telephone, like a telephone and radiology, but like pingers and all this other stuff. But they didn't have the cell phones, you know what I mean, like we do now. Everybody's in their cell phones, and I feel like it's a lot different than back in 111 years ago, guys. Can you imagine that long ago the Titanic sailed? The Atlantic Ocean. Talk about the Titanic and the officers in charge of the bridge, in charge of the controls and everything, and actually turning the ship at the time before she hit was Officer William Murdoch. Now, William Murdoch, he was a very, how do you say this? Not like a straight up kind of like mean person, but it seemed like he was very chill, but also kind of strict in his manner. And then there was Bruce Ismay, the director of the White Star Line. Now, a lot of people may have different opinions about Mr. Bruce Ismay, a famous person, right? And Bruce Ismay was thought it to be good friends with the captain, Mr. Smith, right? Mr. Captain Edward Smith. And what else did I write down here? So I had to remember. But anyways, we come up with these things like, if we're a director, if we're a person in charge of anything, we tend to get a little bit beside ourselves. And I really do feel like Bruce Ismay had that in him a little bit. He wanted the most out of the Titanic. And I heard rumors, this is just speculation, but I heard things of Bruce Ismay really wanted the ship to move at a certain speed because he wanted to get to New York faster than the ship could actually sail. And when doing an inspection, they really thought that the Titanic could do, how do you say this? Could go faster than it normally could with a certain amount of lifeboats. They didn't need certain lifeboats on board, and they didn't need like certain this and certain that, but Thomas Andrews thought otherwise. But there's, like I said, man, there's a lot of speculation in that, and I read a lot about that. And today is about remembering. That's why I want to hop on here. Today is about remembering the beautiful Titanic, the ship, man, and then some of the people that were on board. Like I said, man, a lot of immigrants. Not very many people survived, man. Some of the stories of the people that survived, a lot of people passed away. This is 111 years ago, so we really don't hear too many stories. Let's see what we got here. I think one of the surviving was the baker that was on board the Titanic. Like the baker, one of the bakers had his story really kind of shined the light on. I was just like, wow, dude, this person is swam around in that cold water. He was, drinking on board the ship before the ship had sunk, and he knew the ship was sinking, but he took it upon himself to drink, maybe have a couple bourbons, have a couple, who knows what he drank, but the fact that he survived the cold waters, you can only imagine the people, the atrocity of the people that were in the water and begging for their lives. And many of the other boats around the Titanic didn't want to go back because they thought they were going to turn over the boats, because there wasn't very many lifeboats, with people in them, even Thomas Andrews said they could fit over 60 some men, 70 men, and they weren't even filling them to their capacity. So I really think that some of the officers had a lot of pressure when it came down to it. I mean, you had people A deck, B deck, and people that were in all these different classes, and when they found out that Titanic had hit an iceberg, it was just like pandemonium. People were going crazy. It was crazy, man. But I wanted to just talk about that, and like I said, that Baker dude, he a fascinating story of the survivor. Charles Yogan. I want to get his name wrong, but one of the surviving people on the Titanic. What a fascinating story how he survived the Titanic, just being, drinking. I mean, you would think that the alcohol would actually make you go faster, but I guess you don't really, it's kind of like numbness to your body when you're drinking. You don't really remember things, and you're not really in that state of a mindset. So I can understand that maybe, this is how someone could survive, and what a fantastic, phenomenal, just how someone could just survive that. That's amazing. I mean, a lot of people passed away. Guys. But today we want to remember and go back. It's 111 years anniversary. You guys are on Vinnies Talk. I want to welcome everyone and thank you guys for joining. It's been a while since I've been on. I've been kind of busy around doing things around the house, but we will be back with true crime, right? We will be back with some true crime. But I had to pay a little homage, mad respect, and man, dude, the frozen waters of the northern Atlantic, as the Titanic still sits at the bottom of the Atlantic, we always remember. And the fact is that the ocean salts. There's so much stuff going on at the bottom of the seafloor that maybe in the next 50 years the Titanic will no longer be there. But her willingness, her spirit of just, I know you guys are probably saying spirit. Yes, the Titanic does have a spirit. She was once, floating upon the water, man, and she's now on the bottom of the floor of the Atlantic. But the people that were on board, man, their stories, and we'll never forget their stories, and we always remember that tragic night. You know what I'm saying? So many people, and I've heard stories to people that were saying that what was worse, dealing with the people that were screaming in the water or the silence that followed it. I mean, such crazy things to think about, and there's only imagine to see that now and today. But Captain Smith went down with the ship, and as you guys seen in the James Cameron film, I really think they did a really good job in showing a lot of the details and everything that was going on. Besides the love story, even though we all love the Rose and Jack love story, and I really enjoyed the anniversary of the latest one they just released. They just redid it, remastered it, and released it in theaters. So If you guys haven't seen it, I advise you to check that out, man. But 111 years, man. You know? So I want to thank you guys for joining. Special anniversary podcast for the Titanic. And we got some podcasts coming up soon. So stay tuned, man. You guys are probably like, we're happy to see you, Vinny. But we'll be back with more. You know, we'll be back with more. So thank you guys, man. And until the next time, peace out, guys. We love you, man. We want to remember today and tomorrow. We got 2 special days. You know, the collision to the iceberg, and also the sinking tomorrow. You know, tomorrow morning. So April 14th is when she hit, and then April 15th is when she sank. So, you know, we want to remember that. So thank you guys, and until the next time, peace.